So we're jumping back into the narrative lectionary, and we are jumping pretty far ahead. Last week, we should have spent some time talking about how the people of Israel in the northern kingdom, so our kingdom's divided, we have like 10 tribes in the north in Israel, we have 2 tribes in the south. So we should have spent some time in the northern kingdom last week talking about how the people were messing up again. They were worshiping Baal and sacrificing to idols instead of worshiping God. This week, we're continuing with that theme we skipped. We're jumping into the book of Hosea, and we're looking at how the people of Israel weren't being good followers of God. They were continuing again to worship idols, to sacrifice and be at altars of other deities. They were not caring for each other as neighbors. And so God sent a man named Hosea. He is what we call a prophet. Now, sometimes we think of prophets as fortune tellers, but that's not true. The prophet isn't able to have some vision of the future that is going to take place no matter what. A prophet is saying, here is the behavior we are seeing, and if that behavior doesn't change, here is what is going to happen. Okay? So, for example, you have a teenager who is skipping classes all the time, right? What do we know will happen if that teenager continues to skip classes? You're going to fail, right? You're going to get held back because you continue to skip classes. I'm not seeing into the future. It's not some vision coming to me. I simply know that if you continue with this behavior, this is what is going to happen. Hosea is doing the same thing. God has sent Hosea to say, if you continue to worship other gods and to not care for each other, this is what is going to happen. God isn't making it happen. God isn't putting it upon you. Your behaviors have consequences. And Hosea is trying to say to them, see this? If you stop, if you change, then this won't happen. Then good will come. And so Hosea has spent 10 chapters trying to get the people of Israel to see the error of their ways, to change their behaviors. We are picking up in chapter 11. Chapter 11, verses 1 through 9. It is almost the end of the book of Hosea. Hosea only has 13 chapters. And this is what God is saying. When Israel was a child, I loved him. And out of Egypt I called my son. The more I called them, the more they went from me. They kept sacrificing to the Baals and offering incense to idols. Yet it was I who taught Ephraim to walk. I took them up in my arms, but they did not know that I healed them. I led them with cords of human kindness, with bands of love. I was to them like those who lift infants to their cheeks. I bent down to them and fed them. They shall return to the land of Egypt, and Assyria shall be their king, because they have refused to return to me. The sword rages in their cities. It consumes their oracle priests and devours because of their schemes. My people are bent on turning away from me. To the Most High they call, but he does not raise them up at all. How can I give up on you, Ephraim? How can I hand you over, O Israel? How can I make you like Admah? How can I treat you like Zeboim? My heart recoils within me. My compassion grows warm and tender. I will not execute my fierce anger. I will not destroy Ephraim, for I am God and no mortal, the Holy One in your midst, and I will not come in wrath. The word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. So we have this really tender image at the beginning, this image of God caring for the child Israel. So Ephraim is another way of calling them Israel. It's one of the 12 tribes. But so God is caring for this child Israel. This child has been hurt, and God picks up the child and kisses the boo-boos and heals it all and makes everything better, right? Israel is the child crying out, I just want my mom. And God is there to swoop in. God is there feeding them and caring for them, tenderly loving them with kindness. And yet, Israel doesn't recognize any of it. Israel continues to turn away. Every time God tries to pull them closer, they go further. And God says, to the Most High they call, but I do not raise them up at all. That is a harsh, harsh statement right there. They can cry out, I don't care. I'm not showing up. Not this time. We've all been there. We have all said that about somebody in our life, whether it be a child or a friend. We've all said, they don't get it. I'm done. I give up. I can't help them anymore. If they aren't willing to help themselves, there is nothing I can do. And then they call. And we answer the phone. And we listen to them cry. And we help them. And that is God here. In verse 8, we see this switch. God goes from, that's it, I'm done, I've washed my hands, to, how can I do that? How can I wash my hands with them? I've been with them forever. They've been my best friend for 20 years. I can't give up on them. That's my kid. It doesn't matter how many times they make a mistake. I still love them. I can't give up. God says, I am the Holy One, and I will not let my anger win. I will not let my wrath come about. I will be there. I will listen to them cry, and I will lift them up. God isn't going to stop Assyria from taking over. God can't. The Israelites have chosen. They have chosen their behaviors. And they are so busy fighting amongst each other that Assyria is just going to swoop in. Because they're not united, Assyria is going to win. They're going to take over. God can't stop it, but God says, I'll be there. I'll be there for you when they take over. I'll lift you up again, just as I have every time before. I'm not going to let you be destroyed like Sodom and Gomorrah and these other towns. I'm going to be there because I love you. Because you are my child. Because I am a God of compassion and warmth and tenderness. I'm going to be there. I've been trying to think of an analogy or a metaphor or a simile, I don't know, one of those English things, to talk about this. And so I came up with some. On the front of your bulletin, you see a very bad picture, because I couldn't get a good one, of rock climbing. And the person on the ground is tethered to the one climbing. And when that one falls, the person on the ground catches them. They're there just in case. They're not going to leave or abandon them. If something happens, that person has got them. God is the one at the bottom catching us when we've climbed too high and too risky. Another one I thought of is the first time I went on a date. I'm going to use quotes there, right? I was like in middle school. And I went to a movie, and my parents stayed and watched a movie in another theater, right? They were there just in case. Number one, because it's this little reminder, hey, you better behave because we're in the same building. But number two, if you need us, we're here. right? Or when they would take you, and I don't know, maybe this is like a council of saying they take you to the mall and they'd let you wander by yourself in the mall, but they were there. They were there just in case you needed them. Holding your hands, right? You're holding your hand of the kid in the crowd because you're there in case they need you. Because it's busy and it's scary. You're tethered to them. You're not going to let anything happen. But my favorite that came to me in the middle of the night is about another, absolutely even better than the last athlete I talked about. We're going to talk about Simone Biles. So a couple of weeks ago, I was reading an article about Simone Biles. I know nothing about gymnastics. We're going to put that out there. My notes here say, Simone Biles, coach on the launch thing. By the way, that's called a vault. I Googled it. So, a few weeks ago, I'm reading this article about Simone Biles, and she is about to attempt, or did attempt, the most dangerous vault jump that any female has ever attempted. In fact, the majority of males will not attempt this because it is so dangerous. You have to get so high in the air and be going so fast because you do like 17 flips at once. It's a Yurchenko double pike. Also known as the Biles 2 now, because she is so good at it. She got a half-point deduction before she even started the jump. She got a half-point deduction because her coach was standing beside the vault. Her coach told her, "This is too dangerous. I'm not leaving you. If something goes wrong, I am going to be there to catch you. You're taking this half-point deduction." This coach, in a sport where everything is about the highest score, and in a world where winning is all that matters, said no. This is dangerous, and I'm going to be there to catch you, just in case. That is my image of God here. That is what God is saying to the people of Israel. You made your choice. You're going to do this risky, crazy, insane, stupid thing. That's fine. You do it. But I'm going to be here to catch you. We often talk about the God of the Old Testament versus the God of the New Testament, like they're two separate gods or something, right? We have this Old Testament God who is vengeful and wrathful and jealous. We have this New Testament God who is hippy-dippy and lovey and caring. But that's not true. We have one God. A God who is tied to us, tethered to us with cords of kindness and bands of love. A God who is filled with compassion and tenderness for God's people. That's the God of the Old Testament. That's the God of the New Testament. That is our God. Standing at the edge of the vault saying, I'm going to catch you. Come stupid decision, come dangerous activity, doesn't matter. You can turn away 1,000 times. You can push me as far as you possibly can. It doesn't matter. I'm going to catch you. Amen.